goofy. 1911, this gentleman who lives in Latvia, which was part of Russia at that point, wants to avoid conscription in the Russian army. And so he flees Russia. And he goes to Romania and then Switzerland. And then he ends up in Massachusetts. He ends up in Massachusetts around 1911. He has a green thumb. He loves horticulture. He loves landscaping, etc. Go ahead. This is Hopkinton Common in 1915. I've had so many people say, can we go back there? Look at that, they had mass transit. We have trolley cars, electric trolley cars in 1915 running to Ashland, Framingham, Milford, and Westboro. The tracks, if there are other photographs where the tracks are in the dirt road for the trolleys. So this is 1915. Go ahead. We're going to talk now. This is a very important thing that not many people know about. In 1919, we are post-World War I. American soldiers have just come back. It was an awful war. Awful. Trench warfare, lots of deaths. Some of those deaths attributable to poor transportation, horses pulling cannons in the mud. And the military comes back from Europe, and they look at a 3,000-mile wide country, and they say, uh-oh, how could we get from one side of the country to the other in case we needed to for military purposes? So they organize a convoy of 80 military vehicles and 300 military personnel to drive from Washington, D.C. across the country to San Francisco. Let's take a look at some of those vehicles. This is what they're driving. Walter. So Walter Brown hires this young, aggressive coach named Red Auerbach. And Auerbach comes to town. He's determined he's going to build a winner. And the league is starting to pick up steam. So Auerbach, let's go to the next slide, won't come back. Auerbach has his eye on this kid from University of San Francisco, Bill Russell. Bill Russell wins the national championship at the University of San Francisco. Their nickname is the Dons. That's a great trivia question. Use it when you can. And his teammate is Casey Jones, who also eventually becomes a Boston Celtic. But Auerbach has the 14th pick. So he knows he hasn't got a prayer at Russell. So he trades two of his best players to the St. Louis Browns, and he gets the second pick for those two players. But he's still not guaranteed he's going to get Russell, because the Rochester Royals, later the Cincinnati Royals, Kansas City Royals, have the first pick. So Red goes to Walter and says, Walter, I got to get that first pick. I got to get them not to take Russell. And Walter says, I got an idea. He said, what? He said, well, I own the Ice Capades. And for those of you who remember the Ice Capades, that was a big deal. Ice Capades came to town. Everybody went. It was like getting Beyonce. You know, you get the Ice Capades, right? Well, not exactly, but you know. And so Auerbach says, tell them, because they were in trouble. Rochester was in trouble. He says, tell them I'll give them the Ice Capades free for a week if they don't take Russell. So Auerbach does. And Rochester says, okay. We got 11 championships for the Ice Capades for a week. How freaking cool is that? Walter Brown, the NBA championship trophy is the Brown Trophy. Walter Brown is in the National Basketball Association Hall of Fame. This is in National Hockey League Hall of Fame. He was instrumental in the U.S. Olympic hockey team in the early going. Very few people know that that new school that was built in 1956, where there was a new gym, that Walter Brown brought the 1960 Boston Celtics here for an exhibition game in what today your children play in as the Brown Gym. Oh, I didn't know that. I coached in that gym for many years. All I could think of was Russell dunked on this rim. It's pretty cool.